Hey, what is up, you guys? You're watching Team APS. I'm with Trell today, and we're going to give you guys some creative ways to playtest slash just good playtesting tips in general. Playtesting is important, but I think that there are some like right and wrong ways to do it, right? Like,
Yes, they are.
it's big, your events are coming up and you want to do well, but you also want to make sure that you're doing playtesting the right way.
The right way. The most effective way.
We've got 8 tips, tricks, things you can give a try. Let's hop in.
This is a really cool one. Make your deck into 8 opening hands. And that's typically just stating that you're running the standard 40 card build.
Yeah.
But, that's pretty much, that's 8 hands of 5. And pretty much helps you to see, like, at any given moment, what 5 cards, what 5 card possibilities are you going to draw, and what can you do with those cards.
Yeah, I like to do that. Just, you just take the top 5, take the top 5, take the top 5, take the top 5 until you have like 8 separate stacks. Then you just look at each hand and you're like, okay, here's how I play this one.
How I played this hand. Is there anything
Here's how I play this one.
Yeah, exactly. So
and it's good because each time you do that, you get a quick, realistic look at how your different opening hands might be. And you don't have to like go super in depth with how far you played each one. It's just to show you what the hands are like.
And what plays can be made with those specific cards.
I have the next tip.
What'd it be like?
Switch decks with your opponent. I don't think enough people do this.
Right?
I think that people get too sort of entranced in the one deck that they're testing or the one deck that they're playing.
They're so attached to their own deck they don't want to see it any other way.
But this is a format, and this format's probably going to be over soon, but Yu-Gi-Oh! In general is like, you can't just know your deck. You have to know what the other common decks are.
Right.
And even if you're not the one playing those decks, it still helps loads if you at least have used Zodiacs once before yourself, or anything for that matter.
It helps you to get an understanding of the deck as well. Like, if he has my deck and I have his and I'm playing against my deck, I know what my deck is capable of, so I'm also trying to see how to stop it. Because also, if I find out how to stop it, then in retrospect, I can also find out how to stop him from stopping it as well, if that makes sense.
Yeah, and that, you might even end up learning something new about your own deck. Like if he's playing True Draco, I'm playing Zodiacs, and we switch, then I might end up like doing something with True Draco he never thought to do.
Exactly.
And it's just like, oh wow, that's a thing, cool. And that's a great way to learn things, especially in these formats where there tends to be like a kind of a triangle sort of power circle thing. Like deck A beats deck B, beats deck C, beats deck A. Like having some experience with all of them goes a very long way.
And that kind of segues us into our next tip. Pretty much play against your opponent open-handed. So you both draw your 5 cards, and instead of like trying to be secretive and just play like it's a real tournament, sit there with your hand out and make plays. It helps both you guys to kind of see, because he's gonna see something that I don't see. Everybody always sees something better from the outside looking in. You know what I mean?
For sure.
It's like well, I don't know about Paul specifically, but like when I'm watching sports or whatever, like I'll see like this person watching football. I'll see this receiver is open, but the quarterback didn't see it. That person open in the game, but I'm on the outside looking in. So that can actually give me more tips on, hey, sure, you could have done this way with these cards, and vice versa. So.
Yeah, and honestly and truly, if nothing else, whenever you play open-handed, it actually kind of makes you look more like critically at things, because you're like, oh, maybe I don't know. So you get to the bigger picture.
Yeah, you're also looking at your opponent's hand like, oh, if I do this, they can do that with this. So it makes you aware.
And related to that, the next tip is to choose your opening hand. This is a really interesting playtesting thing that I don't think enough people give a try. Basically, you let your opponent or whoever you're testing with pick what their starting hand is.
Right.
It sounds like, oh, well, they're just going to pick what the best possible hand is. And they are, probably.
Most likely.
But I think it's a good way to learn how to optimize even your best hands. It's also a great way to learn how to optimize your worst hands. You can pick to start with what's the worst possible hand I could draw, and how would I play out of it.
Exactly. Sometimes you're gonna get that horrible hand, and you're like, well, what, can I do anything?
Yeah, and that's and you can let your opponent do it as well, and just sort of see like what's going to happen here. I think that a big thing with that too is like people will pick the best possible hand and they'll forget maybe that wasn't actually the best possible hand. Like, maybe I should have had this instead.
Exactly. It teaches possibilities. Next one we're going to have is alternate who goes first and who goes second. And that's very important because nobody ever really just wins every die roll. And even if you do, you don't know that you're going to win every die roll unless you're cheating.
Or sometimes you're like me and you lose every die roll.
And a lot of times in regionals, like everybody knows, mostly I don't win die rolls. So I just typically don't, and I don't even expect to. But sometimes you have those chances, those moments where you actually win a die roll. So it's good to go first and second because it also helps you to determine what your response is going to be or what your initial action is going to be as well. So.
Yeah, too many people like kind of just view everything in terms of I got to go first and
go
go
first.
nuts.
And this is what I do if I go first.
Yeah, I'm just gonna go nuts and go crazy and all of that. But what about like when you have to go second? You have to actually respond to a field and react to an established board and deal with traps or hand traps or whatever. Right. So that's a really good one. The next one is to take note of the cards that you went into the most. In this day and age, where like extra decks are always like filled to the very brim,
right, extra tight,
and you're really trying to like make sure that your deck like is like, do I want to run this or do I want to run that? When you're playtesting, make a note of like what did you go into the most when you were summoning from the extra deck versus what cards did you not make very often. Those are the things you can start taking out.
And, yeah, not even just in the extra deck, also in the main deck. What combos were you more drawn to in the main deck as opposed to not? Like what cards seem to be more important as opposed to others that were not, that you could have just done without?
Yeah, especially with the main deck too, is like if you're running like 2 of something and you really enjoy every time you see it, maybe you're running 3 of it, as opposed to that one random tech that you're running a single copy of.
Right, because it seems cool.
It seemed neat, but then it's like, it's not showing up much, and then it showed up a few times and it didn't even work every time. And it's like, that's where you need to. Same with the extra deck, maybe you don't actually need that second Abyss Dweller because you're making something else more often. Or maybe Rhapsody and Berserk's not as necessary as you thought it was. Alas.
Yeah, it didn't do that good in Nationals.
What is our next?
The next tip we're gonna go off with is allow takebacks. Remember, this is playtesting, not a real tournament. So it's good to allow takebacks because you want first off, if you're playtesting, usually it's with friends. But allowing takebacks allows them to understand to make the best move possible. You want them to make the most optimal move in that situation as possible. So allowing them to make a takeback is because hey, you can do this instead of this. Let me try that over. Let me see what outcome I would get from doing this set of plays as opposed to this other set of plays.
Yeah, it's all about like really optimizing. It's just practice. Wins and losses aren't the end of the world. Not when you're playtesting, not when you're practicing. I think that one little small extension even to that tip is when you're playtesting, don't be afraid to go for a slightly off the beaten track play because it's just playtesting.
Right.
You might be misplaying and that's fine, but if it could be a better play and you think maybe it is, then
you go for it.
Give it a try. Like it's not the worst thing in the world to at least do that.
And if it is misplaying, you learn from that as well. Maybe I shouldn't do this in this given situation.
And the final tip is honestly probably the best one. Review your matches. Actually review your matches and find where you lost.
Right.
I think the thing I hear the most, far too often, is somebody saying, oh, well, I lost to whatever the last play of the game was. He's like, oh, that's what beat me. But the truth is, there was probably some interaction or something that happened, maybe a turn before, turn or two before, that was like the turning point that caused you to lose it all. And too many people are just, like, oh, I got sacked. Or, oh, things just, whatever, they beat me. But I think that when you can go back and rewatch matches or review turns, it helps a lot.
A lot of times the person will be like, I had control up until blank. So then what happened at blank that made you lose control? What could you have done differently to prevent that?
Yeah, especially when there's like a chain involved, like some chain with like 3 or 4 links and, it's just things go crazy. If you have access to a camera, in fact, record your duels. It's even better. Then you can really hindsight's 20/20. Like, definitely go back and rewatch them.
Right.
It's just good practice. It's just good business. So, I think that's going to be it. Those are our 8 tips. I believe it was 8 tips. I think it was more. I don't know.
There's a couple of them.
Tips that you can use next time you're playtesting to help you better prepare. Clearly, there's loads of different things. Everybody has a different way of playtesting. If you have some advice that you think people could benefit from, let us know.
Share with us. Yeah.
We'd love to hear it. I think that's going to be it.
Send me them nudes.
Yeah. If you like the video, give it a thumbs up. If you love the video, subscribe and hit the notification button so you see every new video as soon as it comes out.
Share with your friends. Tell them about us.
Be a part of the notification squad, per se.
Squad up.
That's going to be it. We will see you guys in the next video.